Hello. This thing's probably on, isn't it? Okay. Yep, seems to be. Okay. I'm going to do 6 cards today, it would seem. Well, that's why I drew out the box anyway. What South Korean city is served by Kimpo International Airport? I'm going to say Seoul. In what film did David Niven take his manservice Canterflass on a voyage? Poseidon Adventure? Who became Defence Secretary in January 1983? Was that Heseltine? What French carnival name is translated to mean Fat Tuesday in English? Mardi Gras. What mythical creature gets his year in the year 2000 according to the Chinese calendar? So, mythical, so I'm going to suggest that's probably dragon. What traditional English breakfast consists of rice, eggs and smoked haddock? Kedgeree. And the answers are Seoul is where Kimpo International Airport. Around the world in 80 days. That's what I should have said. But there you go. I did think it first of all, but I thought that was past for 2. But there you go. Michael Heseltine was indeed Defence Secretary in January 1983 because the Westland thing happened later. Mardi Gras is indeed Fat Tuesday in English. Well, sorry, in French. The dragon was the mythical creature for the year 2000. And indeed, kedgeree is the dish with smoked haddock, rice and eggs. And that gives me 5 out of 6. Good start. Next card. What are the 2 colours of the Canadian flag? Red and white. What is the name of the hairdresser who phoned Steve Wright on his show? No idea. What East Anglian city claims to be Britain's oldest recorded town? Is that Norfolk? Let's say Norfolk. What do Bach's initials JS stand for? Is it Johann Strauss? Sorry, not is it? But anyway. No, is it Johann Sebastian? Anyway, yeah. What plant of the Ponax family is said in the East to cure most ills, including lack of sexual drive? Don't know. How often are the show jumping world championships held? Every year? Red and white is indeed the colours of the Canadian flags. Gervais is the name of the hairdresser on the Steve Wright show. Colchester was the town in East Anglia, or city. Johann Sebastian was indeed the initials for JS Bach, which I think is what I said. Ginseng is the cure most ills, and then the World Championships for show jumping is every 4 years. So I got 2 out of that 6, which is not as good as the first cut. Which US state is Philadelphia in? I'll kick myself when I hear the answer to this one, or when I read the answer to this one. Don't know. What time does Channel 4's evening news start? 7 o'clock at the time of this card. What was a moaning mini in World War II? A bomb. What was the composer Tchaikovsky's first name? Again, I probably know this, but yeah. What can the females of the world's only two monotremes do that no other mammals can? Lay egg, well, produce eggs outside of their body. What French river has the vineyards of Châteauneuf-du-Pape on its banks? Let's say the Loire. It is Pennsylvania where Philadelphia is. Yes. 7 o'clock is when the Channel 4 News is. I think it still is. An air raid siren was a moaning mini. I didn't know that Tchaikovsky's first name was Peter. Lay eggs is the answer on the for this, and it was the bone. So I got 2 of those. Again, not great after the good start we had. What city is called the Motor City by Americans? Detroit. What is the name of Richard Baker's classical music program on Radio 4? No idea whatsoever. What country captured cannons provided the bronze for the reliefs at the bottom of Nelson's column? France, probably. Whose 17th century writings were not deciphered until 1825? Nostradamus, possibly. What speed record established in 1936 stands at 126 4 miles per hour and will now probably never be broken? Is that the steam train? How many bars are there in a jail window on a Monopoly board? 4. I'm going to kick myself if it's 3. Okay, Detroit is indeed the Motor City. Baker's Dozen was the Richard Baker show. It is indeed France's cannons. It was Samuel Pepys, whose writings were not deciphered until 1825. The steam engine speed record, and I am going to kill myself because it is 3. So I got 3 of those, which is an almost okay number on that card. 2 more cards to go. What Canadian city is home to the Royal York Hotel, once the tallest building in the British Empire? Let's say Toronto. Who introduces us to the American Top 50 on Sunday afternoons on Radio 1? It's Casey something, isn't it? Anyway. Casey Kasem, wasn't it, something like that? What decade of the 19th century witnessed the Jack the Ripper murders? The 1850? No, isn't it? Yeah, let's say 1850s. What weekly publication advertises itself as the world's most quoted news magazine? Punch. What pungent gas is a mixture of nitrogen and hydrogen? Good question. So that would be. I mean, is it laughing gas? Oh, is pungent a pun? Is it No, it's not nitrous oxide. That's nitrous oxide, so there can't be nitrogen and hydrogen. I don't know. I really should know that one. Who set an Olympic record in 1984 with 8,797 points? Daley Thompson. Is it no Thompson? Yeah. Toronto is the home of the Royal York Hotel. Paul Gambaccini was the American Top 50 on Radio 1. The 80s, so the 1880s, was the Jack the Ripper murders. I mean, to be honest, If I'd actually read a article about Babylon 5 episode Comes Inquisitor today, is what I was going to. I would have, okay, Time is the most quoted news magazine, which probably is. Nitrogen and hydrogen is ammonia. I probably should have guessed. And it is Daley Thompson, who was a decathlete and scored that many points in 1984. Okay, that was two again. Okay, last card for today. What country brews South Pacific lager? Let's say New Zealand. What lover of the classical music introduces Radio 4's Start the Week? No idea. What race ruled Peru after the Chimus? Was that the Incans? Or was it the Aztecs? Let's say Incans. What Spanish painter of reclining news had the same birthday as Vincent van Gogh? No idea. What famous architect was a professor of astronomy at Oxford? Sir Christopher Wren. What England cricket captain claimed close to a record by winning his first cap in 1949 and his last in 1976? Was that Brian Close? Was it Compton? Was it Cowdrey? Let's go for Close because he was relatively famous for having a long career. New Zealand was the South Pacific lager. Now, Richard Baker, who was on one of the previous cards, was the person who did the class. I did almost think about saying that. The Incas did indeed rule Peru after the Chimus. Goya was the Spanish painter. Sir Christopher Wren was indeed a famous architect who was a professor of astronomy at Oxford. And it was Brian Close who was the England captain, well, who had his first cap in 49 and his last in 76. So that is actually a very respectable 4 out of 6, which means I got about 50% right, it would seem. Okay, anyway.